welcome, welcome, welcome to the human experience. Passion and action. I am your host, Himyo, aka True Him, aka Dynamism, aka Altruism, aka It All Flows Through Him. Welcome today to this human experience. Passion in action. It has been a while since we have recorded. It has been a while since we have been on hiatus, doing things that are going to legitimize us and allow us to move forward and expand in a very dynamic way. So for all of those who are new to the human experience, passion in action, let me explain you a little something about what you are about to experience. So, the human experience is where I, Himyo, ask our guests 7 questions that will allow them to compassionately express themselves so that you, the viewer, the listener, the audience members, are able to experience the compassion that resides within said individual. Yes. That is what we are up to here at the human experience. And now, you may notice that I said passion and not compassion. And it is a very intentional reason as to why I am doing such. When I talk about the I am talking about the life force that resides within this orbit that we call Earth, or I should even say extended out into the universe. That energy, that life force, we call it Ka. And then when we talk about passion, it is a deep feeling or emotion that wells up with inside of you. So when we put those two words together, the life force and the passion that resides within someone, and then it's being expressed and experienced by you, we call those Heka moments, because we like to have humans expressing and experiencing compassionate actions. And so, what has my human experience been like, and what kind of passion has been residing within me over these last couple of days? I would say that today was a great day because I had my daughter today. Yes, I have the great fortune of having my daughter back in my life and being able to spend an exorbitant amount of times as we transition into becoming a full-time dad once again. So now I'm working through the lessons and the life challenges that come with developing what co-parenting is going to look like. And for any of those who have not been on that journey, it is not a welcomed one. Although I do know it is possible to build a bubble that will allow for the co-parenting relationship to thrive in the manner that will serve our daughter to be the most dynamic, affirming, and essential being to the planet that she can possibly be. So yeah, that's what today has been. We went up and I picked her up and we came back and I made this for lunch. We had this pizza that's been on my mind to make. And it's one of those things that the idea didn't quite come out as well as it was formulated in my mind. But hey, we ate it anyway and had a great day. And I made a new tie-dye shirt, so I'm happy about that. And as I dropped her off, I rushed home to be able to record this particular episode. Why? Because the guest that we have on today is an individual that I met. You may have heard me mention a couple of months back about the BWO. Now, the BWO is an organization that I am a part of that is a wealth building opportunity that is coming about as a result of, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. No, not now. Stop. I am being lambasted by this damn program, and now I feel like this recording is about to go haywire. But that's okay, because this is called the human experience. That has been my experience. I messed up. I pushed a button. I've been in places and doing things that I don't need to be doing. Just keep it simple and keep it straightforward, Himyo, is the lesson I am telling myself. Now, as I was going into it, the way that I met this individual was I went during Memorial Day weekend of this year. I had the great fortune of going to Puerto Rico, and in there we had our first BWO Mastermind Conference, and it was in this conference that I got to grace the presence of this young lady and her son. And we were able to build a bond in such a short weekend that I think is going to be like one of those forever things. You know, one of those people that you just call on and you always want to check up on, and just to make sure that their life is going well, and just to see how we are able to build a financial future for ourselves and encourage one another to build those financial legacies for our families, right? And so it was at that conference, and I'll let her go into some of the experiences that she had within that conference, and hopefully that will come up as we are having this conversation and this dialogue today. And so the individual that I am talking about, she comes from Jersey. Yeah, that's right. We got another Jersey representative coming on and coming in tune. And then not only does she come from Jersey, but she is an educator. And the individual that I am mentioning is Miss Nasaya Nicole. Welcome to the Human Experience. Nasaya, how you doing? Welcome to the Human Experience. Please let the world know who you are and how you became that.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to correct you a little bit on my pronunciation. Is okay because everyone always, messes it up. But it's Nasia.
Okay.
Nasia Nicole. And it's all good because that's the human experience, right? So I'm Nasia Nicole. I am from Jersey, like Himyo mentioned. I didn't grow up not too far from Himyo, actually, in New Jersey, which is very interesting. It's a small world. And I am an educator. I've been an educator for a little over 18 years. And I made my way up here to Massachusetts now. I live on a beautiful island off of the coast of Massachusetts called Nantucket Island, and I'm here. Thank you. I'm excited for being here.
So you are a Nantucket nectar. Okay, all right. Now, where's Nasia?
Nasia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Nasia, I apologize for the butchering of your name, and I shall work on the correction of that. But Nasia, what we like to do here is we are thoroughly about being able to give people their flowers while they are still here. So just in case you're not used to people clapping for you, Nasia, we got something. This one's for you. Yeah. Not only do we like to do it once, right? But now let's keep that going. Let's keep that going, because an individual such as yourself, who has been an educator for over 18 years, deserves the applause. And if you are not used to people applauding for you, we're gonna give it that to you one more time, so that way you download that and feel that in your DNA. So that way, anytime you do not or need to know to have some I would say some enlivenment in yourself, you know that these claps are meant to download in your DNA to always be clapping for you, just in case you know you're in. Matter of fact, we're going to give that to you a fourth time. So, all right. So we got into that you are an educator. You are from New Jersey. And I guess before we get into the human experience questions, what I would like to know is, like, what was it that attracted you to the field of education?
So it's interesting. When I first attended Rutgers University, I actually wanted to become a computer scientist. But during work study, I actually became a teacher's assistant. And as a teacher's assistant, I was actually helping a lot of the students as well as the teacher. And that was really interesting because I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed working with students until I was in that position. And then I had the great opportunity to travel abroad to Costa Rica. I always
Mm,
had it in my head. I grew up watching The Cosby Show, and they were like my parents in my head. And so every single person went to study abroad, including Theo. And once I saw Theo study abroad, I'm like, definitely has to be something to this. So I always had in my mind that I would go study abroad. So I chose Costa Rica, thinking that I was going to learn Spanish, but I found out that actually we had to teach the students English. And so during that experience, I was teaching the students English, students from K through 12, and I was just hooked after that. I changed my entire situation because after that 8 week experience, it was just amazing. And I just absolutely fell in love with students. And I decided to become a teacher from there.
mm. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it was like a chance encounter that brought you to actually, um, yeah, actually serving students, right? It was a chance to get away, because I have a whole theory about the Cosby Show and what that and the role that played, in society at that time. Especially when you talk about like what was going on within the background of the black community, and at that
Mm-hmm.
time, at the height of the Cosby Show, as our communities were being dismantled by the advent of the crack generation and the crackdown on the war on drugs and the over infestation of the gang problem beginning in all across the United States and things of that nature. At that time, as black families were single-handedly being destroyed by the ravishing of these drugs, we had this family that was basically deemed the pillar of like what a black family could look like, right? And we aspired to have a family like that or come from a family like that because of the spin-off of that show, A Different World, that single-handedly had a large rate of African American people going to higher education, right? Because of that show, A
Mm-hmm.
Different World, right? And so I believe that some like lightweight conspiracy theory has to do with like because they had that funneling to our community, they were using that as a guise and a ploy to like rip our communities apart. In the actuality, based upon the war on drugs, and then they just put that little medicine in front of us to give us like a placebo effect, for lack
Right.
of a better word, right? So that's my loose based conspiracy theory on why the
I
Cosby Show became so prevalent. But continue.
No, I can definitely dig it. It was definitely powerful in my life. And I actually attribute it as to why I actually did go to college, to be
Mm,
quite honest.
mm,
And so it was like I didn't want to let my Huxtable family down, and I just, felt like I needed to be there. And so going on, well, taking that journey to Costa Rica, it really did change my trajectory because, like I said, I was on a path of being a computer scientist. I was taking all of these computer classes and math classes, and it just didn't align with who I was at my core. I'm more of a social being.
mm,
Although I do enjoy technology, and at that time, computers had just became a real thing. So I did enjoy the fact that I can put a code in and something will pop up on the screen, and I did enjoy that aspect of it. But I realized that having an impact on real lives, little people, was something that really, really resonated with me when I went over to Costa Rica. It was life changing, and I actually didn't even want to leave and come
mm,
back to the states. I did build a special bond with those students, and so that definitely changed my trajectory as a student in college, and that's how I became a teacher.
Interesting. Yo, out of those, are you still in contact with any of those youth?
I'm not, unfortunately. I wish we had social media back then. I know I'm dating myself, but yeah, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm not in contact with them, unfortunately. I wish I was. I really do.
Not a problem. Well, that brings me to the first question that I have for you, Nasia, which is Nasiah. I'm sorry.
No,
Which
you were right.
which
It's like,
is
I'll see ya.
I'll see you. I'll see you.
Yeah,
I'll see you
I'll see
later.
ya. See ya.
I'll
Yeah.
see you. All right,
Mm.
cool. So that first question I have for you is it better to have oh, wait, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm messing up here. Uh what is it that you trust more? Your heart or your brain?
Hmm. That's a great, great, great question. Oh my
It's out there.
goodness. That's,
It's out there.
that's
The question's out there. What do you trust more? Your heart or your brain?
uh, oh, I think I trust my brain more. Um, I think it depends on the situation though, because I'm very logical and I'm very strategic. I'm a very strategic and logical thinker. I don't really move based on emotion. However, I or I have learned over the years to tap into my emotion more often and allow um my feelings and my emotions to guide um some of my thinking or some of my decision making in terms of just being in tune with how I really, really feel about something, especially when I'm tuned in like with spirit. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
tuned in with spirit and I literally meditate and I listen to spirit's downloads, then I can honestly say that I will go against my logical thinking because I know for a fact that, that came from spirit. So it's not just me being emotional. It's not just me, you know what I mean? I know it came from a higher power because I asked for this specific question to be answered. And now that I'm actually listening, I know it came from spirit. So then I'll listen to that. But my first instinct is I'm a logical thinker. I'm a pro and con type thinker. And sometimes that has served me well, but sometimes it does stifle me as well.
Mm. I hear that. I hear that. Okay. So you're saying that if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you listen to your heart, right? And you wait for the communication to be had with spirit or source creator, however you call it, right? To be able to download into your heart to then allow it to either override the logical nature of your brain or to like assist with bringing or to train your brain into the manner of making manifest that which is being downloaded in your heart, right? To start having that function in a manner to produce that and make it real and manifest that. If I'm hearing you correctly, that's what I believe you heard. I heard you say through the idea of being able to go through meditation, to be able to ask for questions and allow for the stillness and the communication to be had to provide the answers to the questions that you were looking to have downloaded and acted upon in your particular life at that particular moment.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And when I do that, that is when I make my best decisions.
Mm. And how did that play? And I guess I want to elaborate on that a little bit more because then how did that play into you being in this current teaching situation that you're in on this lovely island off the coast of Massachusetts?
It's so funny that you asked me that question because when I made the decision to move to this island, it was completely spirit guiding me. It had nothing to do with logical reasoning. Everything was illogical about it. I had no housing. I actually had never even visited the island before, and I never even heard of it. I have no family out here. Everything about it was definitely illogical. And however, I would say that there was something, spirit and probably the ancestors guiding me and telling me exactly what to do, when to do it. The opportunity presented itself by a coworker telling me about a position up here and me being able to be my son's teacher had if I take this position.
Mm.
And that actually intrigued me because um, he was going into sixth grade at the time, and I mean I had literally just resigned from my prior teaching job. I actually was done with teaching, and I was going to go into doing my coaching full time. And so I had just resigned, and when the opportunity presented itself, it literally presented itself like literally right after I resigned.
Mm.
Again, I had never even heard of this island. I had never even visited this island, and my coworker told me because she actually had moved up here, or she actually was in the process of moving up here because she had gotten a position. And so she was like, "Well, you should come too." And I'm like, okay. When she told me that this I had the opportunity to teach my son, that really spirit just was like, "You should just do it." And so I had a lot of personal things happen prior to that also made it make sense in terms of me up and leaving too. So
Gotcha.
again, it wasn't logical in terms of me have I didn't have any like I didn't have anything laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have, anything laid out. Everything was just ordained. It just everything unraveled the way it was supposed to, and it had literally nothing to do with me.
Awesome. Well, that's a debatable topic when you say it has nothing to do with you, but we'll
Well, in
we'll
terms of
we'll
my
jump
logical
into that.
brain, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We'll jump into that as I ask you this next question. So, pregunta número dos is it better to have beauty or be beautiful?
Is it better to have beauty or to be beautiful?
Correct. That is the question on the floor.
Is it better to have beauty or to be beautiful?
Yep, that is what we are working with now. That is what we are working with. Is it better to have beauty or be beautiful? Hmm. Hmm. What say you, Nasaya?
I think it's better to be beautiful because you could be beautiful in different ways. Like you could be beautiful in your spirit. I'm hoping that you're beautiful in your spirit. That's very important. And you could be beautiful in your energy. Your energy could be beautiful, and you could be beautiful. Your talents can be beautiful. Your desires, your hopes and dreams. You can have beautiful dreams, beautiful hopes. So I think that to be beautiful could mean to be beautiful in different areas of your life as opposed I feel like when you think of having beauty, ah, it's weird when I think of having beauty.
Mm. Well, see, so I think if I'm downloading what you're uploading, you're talking about the various emanations of how one can be beautiful, right? So you're talking about the
Mm-hmm.
various actions of being beautiful, right? And I think within where you're going with that and what you're conveying, right, is the very fluid and dynamic motion of beautiful, right? You're not talking
Mm-hmm.
about something that is just sitting there that's stale and it's like something that someone may have but they're not actively putting it to use, and it's not laying there being dormant, growing dust on it and or rotting or anything like that, right? You're talking about motion, you're talking about action, and you're talking about very like tangible things that you can actually touch with, or I wouldn't say touch, or that can be felt from someone being beautiful.
And for someone, if someone is in your presence too, they can feel your beauty through your presence,
Mm,
right? Like they can feel like someone can walk away from you and say, "Wow, that was a beautiful experience or a beautiful exchange I had with that person,"
mm-hmm.
right? And that's because the energy you gave to that person was just so amazing, you know.
Like case in point, beautiful exchange, right? One, so it just that actually reminded me of the first beautiful exchange that we had at that conference in Puerto Rico, right? So
Mhm.
from the way I remember it, right, is that we were just in the lobby, or I happened to be in the lobby as you and your son were checking in. I don't even know if honestly, I don't even know if I was able to even check into my room at that particular time, right? Because the backstory between like what that trip was and what that meant and what I had to go through in order for it to be executed was
Mm.
that's a whole nother story, and I won't go into like all the particulars, but just know that like that first day that I was trying to get into my room, it was a really big battle because I had to shift monies from here, there, and there. I had monies that was on the
Oh
way
wow.
that was stopped in the digital world and da 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 da. But it was
Mm.
through the strategies and the lessons that I had learned in BWO that I was able to have the monies, knowing that the monies were there. So the problem wasn't the fact that, oh, worried about where the money was coming from. It was ironically um, getting lost in the digital universe, right? And those transfers of zeros and ones were taking forever, right? So it's like, what the hell are we doing here? If like digital transactions are supposed to be seamless, then why the hell do I have to wait 1 to 2 days for this shit to show up in my account to be able to pay a person or to have the monies available? And so that's what was going on behind the scenes. And then I ran into you as y'all were about to check in, because I think what you were looking for the first place to go for the meetup or something of the sorts like that, right? I can't fully
Mhm.
recall
I
where it
think we had just
was.
finished eating. We had just finished eating at that restaurant,
Mm.
and we were figuring out what to do next. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's where I met you and your son, who I'll have the great fortune of interviewing as well, and hearing about what his experience was. But like when we to make it relevant to the question that's on hand, right, about being beauty, having beauty, or being beautiful, right? We were able to share from that one initial interaction a beautiful moment with one another, right, and to be able to encourage one another and to feel an assurity about where we were and what we were about to embark on for that weekend, right? Which led into a whole other series of events that we'll continue to talk about. But I just really wanted to talk about that initial interaction of the beauty and the beautiful moment that we were able to share with one another, to be able to foster this relationship that we are developing at the moment, to even be able to
It
have
was
you on my
definitely.
podcast.
I agree. It was definitely a beautiful moment, and I believe that you impacted Jasir a lot. Something that he can always take with him from the words that you spoke to him during that moment. I mean, you really spoke a word into his heart, you know, and I have it on video.
Oh, you do?
uh, I do. I
Oh,
do
that's
have it on
crazy.
video. Yeah. And so it was just a beautiful moment. It was a real beautiful moment for him as well. I don't know if he fully understands the impact. I understood the impact at the time, and I also know that's something that he can reflect back on over and over again in his mind, like just to see that positivity from a stranger and a black male is even in particular. It was just a beautiful moment because it's not like it was impromptu, and you pretty much are speaking life into him, and it's good to hear that from a different voice other than me all the time, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
Right.
so I thought that was a really beautiful moment, just how everything came together. He still talks about you, so
Ah, oh
you
man.
definitely, yeah, so you definitely are a beautiful spirit.
Ah, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, that makes me feel good. Uh, so all right. So what we have learned thus far, we have learned that you work very hard to trust your heart. We have learned that your idea of being beautiful and what that means in the various iterations that exist of being beautiful. And now, pregunta número three. I just mixed. Yeah, I just did some Spanglish right there. The third question I have for you is, Nasia.
Yes, you got it right.
When was the last time you cried?
Oh man,
When was the
last time
last
I
time
cried.
you cried? Yes, yes, ma'am.
The other day. It wasn't too long ago.
Okay. Do you care to share?
um,
Or without going into necessarily, not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily share the specific, but I think the more so the question that's on the floor is like, what kind of tears were those? What kind of cry was it?
well, I was crying actually in my dream,
Hmm.
and in my dream, it was a really, really like boo-hoo breakdown cry. But when I woke up and later on throughout that day, it was more of a, like an after cry. Like, wow, like this is like I'm really, you know, hurt. And I don't mind going into why I cry.
So it was a hurt cry. Just so we're clear. So it was a cry. It was a hurt cry. It were there were tears of sadness. There's tears of grief. There were tears of what kind of like feeling words could you attach to those tears
I
that
would
were being
say
released?
both. I would say sadness and grief. Um, my son lost his dad. I lost my best friend.
Mm,
And I have recurring dreams of his dad, and I'm in those dreams, I'm begging him to come home.
mm,
And I had that dream a couple of days ago where I'm literally begging him to come home, like hands, knees, crying, begging, like, you can come home now. We get it, whatever. You can come home as if, you know, he's just away on a trip or something.
mm,
And and it's a recurring dream, but the last time that I had the dream, it was actually very lucid,
mm,
and it really felt real, and I really felt the tears, and it was something that I did. It carried on into when I woke up, and I was still finding myself crying. Yeah, sadness and grief. You
mm.
know,
Now, that makes me think about, and number one, sorry for your loss. I will say this: remember the good, remember the bad, for they are both signs and times that he has lived and shall forever live on through you, your actions, and the actions of your son. So that's how he will remain alive. That's how you can still be incommunicado with this individual for the signs that result as that. And so the question that I have that's kind of attached to that is, um, have you noticed a pattern of when these dreams reoccur? Like, have you noticed like what else or what other kind of circumstances are going on around you that cause these reoccurring dreams to be presented in the moment? Like, have you done those kind of examinations?
actually, I don't know this. I don't actually. I actually don't. I can't say that I actually tried to figure out when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of just take it as it just being like he's just there,
Mm,
and that's his way of showing that he's there and he's present and he's with me. All
mm,
right, so I don't really think too deeply into it in terms of that. I do have a spiritual advisor who taps into him, and she's really good when it comes to being she's able to communicate with him, and that makes a world of a difference. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, but I don't yeah, I don't really think about like when it happens, but I'm grateful that it happened
mm.
because I feel like it's him just saying like I'm right here, like all you have to do is go to sleep and see me, you
Ah,
know.
like that's that's
Yeah.
that's that's him. That's the version of him coming home.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm being extra emotional, like, oh, just come back or whatever. But like during the time that we're in the dream, it's like we're chilling. It's like he's good, everything's fine. And then I'm like, oh, just come home, just come home. But like I'm grateful to have the dream because I feel like, and that's interesting because maybe I should start paying attention to when it shows up because maybe he shows up more when I'm stressed or when I don't know. That's actually interesting. Maybe I'll start paying attention to it. But I'm just grateful. Like I'm like, Dag, I'm just glad I got to see him last night. You know what I mean? That's
Mm.
what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that's
yeah.
so that's a so in hearing so not only is there tinges of sadness or a releasing of those sadnesses through those tears that run off, right? So it's allowing for the sadness and allowing for some of the weight of the situation and allowing for the grief to also dissipate as well, right? As you go through those
Mm-hmm.
stages. And I guess grief is something that is forever with you. So you're forever oscillating through those various stages of grief, right? And 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 then there's the gratefulness that comes, or the gratitude, I should say, that comes from being in the presence of that spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you say is your best friend and is forever represented through your son, right? Um, so that's an interesting conversation. That's a whole conversation in and of it to itself. And then when you say
Yeah.
having a spiritual advisor that is able to tap into that spirit, right? Yeah, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there is something to further explore in that, right?
Yeah.
To help with the grief, to help with the alleviation of the sadness, and then to help with gaining the insights of how to like apply those dreams in 3D and in real life, right? To whatever situation needs to be transpired at that moment. So,
Right.
mm,
That was a good
interesting.
question.
Interesting. Thank you. I try. Yeah, I know you were a little worried about it. So what's the theme? I want to know the theme. What's going on with the theme? What I got to know? How I got to be prepared? And I was just like, chill. Just chill. It's all gonna be revealed, and it ain't one of those. It's not like one of those. Like I said, it's not a gotcha. We're not. I'm not here to get people. I'm here to have authentic expressions of self, so that individuals are able to really get a dynamic sense of a person, right? So I started this podcast in with the idea that you know, when people hear interviews, they usually hear interviews from celebrities, dignitaries, and people that have supposed status, right? And that's why people want to find them interesting and want to hear what it is that they have to say and what it is that and their thoughts upon specific topics or whatever. And so I created this platform for individuals because I come across a plethora of individuals who are stars in their own rights, and it's like, why not hear and get to know who this person is, and be able to see the compassion that resides within this person, and experience that, right? So that way you can find a relatedness to that individual, and hopefully in your listening of this individual, you will find something that resonates with you, right? Maybe there's an answer, maybe there's something that was said, maybe there was a conveyance of thought that can alter and shift the dynamic of an individual through hearing this particular person express themselves. So that's why I created this platform for the everyday person to feel important and valued. right?
Right.
That's the passion that is expressed through this platform. You know, is the authentic, dynamic expression of the individual. And so, with that being said, the next question I have for you, which would be the fourth, is what are three words or phrases to know in all languages? Three words or phrases to know in all languages, in your opinion.
I would say hello, how are you, and thank you.
Hello, how are you, and thank you. Okay, so why those three words? Hello, how are you, and thank you.
Um, I mean, you have to be able to greet people. The greeting matters and showing manners,
Mm-hmm.
that matters. I think everything in between you can kind of point out. but I mean, just speaking to someone can change a person's day, you know?
Mm.
And so I just think that um, asking about someone's day, I mean, you may not be able to understand what they're saying back to you, but but asking about someone's day can, open up a world of uh, opportunity for them to share whatever it is that's on their mind and heart for that
Mm.
day, and they may need it that um, opportunity to do that based on whatever it was that they were going through for that day. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are more than three words that we should know, but those are the
Hey,
first three that popped
those are
up.
the hello, how are you, and thank you. All right. Okay, so now as we drilled through that, Messiah, the next thing I want to know is what scares you?
Hmm. What scares me? Uh, Leaving this earth without giving my son all of the keys that he needs to be successful. And also leaving without creating a legacy for him to carry on. This literally scares me.
Mm.
Um,
Dive into that a
I,
little bit more.
I really want him to uh, be able to have guidance throughout his journey here. And obviously, I know I'm not the only one that can guide him, but having, knowing that he already has lost a parent, I wouldn't want him to have to go through that experience while he's still so young.
Mm. This.
And also,
Uh huh.
I do want to create a legacy where he can carry on the legacy um, and the empire um, onto his children and so on and so forth. So I want to be able to leave him with some sort of legacy with our family name.
Mm. Now, there's something in that where you said all the keys, right? Is that possible to be able to give someone all the keys?
No, it's not possible to give them all the keys, but I would like for him to receive as many keys as possible throughout the different phases and experiences that he's going to go through as a young man, navigating this this journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would like to. It does scare me not to be there in his formative years while he's still learning who he is and learning his way and getting his footing in the world.
Mm.
Um, of course, when he gets older and he has certain experiences and he's able to, I guess, uh learn from a lot of the mistakes and things that he made, and he's able to then carry on, I guess I won't be as afraid because now he is at a different age and he's at a different point in his life. But it does scare me to not be there for him at such a young age, only because he doesn't have too many other people that he can depend on.
Mm. Okay, I could dig that. I could dig that. It makes all the sense in the world. That what would scare you is not to leave your son prepared for life, right? Or for some instances that may happen or transpire in life, right? Some of the possibilities, both adverse and advantageous. So that's I could dig that. I could dig that. Now we just
And
learned.
also experiencing is, I'm sorry, I didn't be, you just said that the advantageous part. Also missing out on those experiences of being there as he is going through those great times and having those great experiences. Obviously I will be there in the metaphysical sense of the word, but just him having me on his side to see him go through, you know, those milestones too, I
Mm,
think um are important.
got you. Just like you getting up out the house and leaving him in the heck alone, going on this trip to California, right? So he can experience being a 15-year-old and actually apply and practice those great gems
And
and
he
jewels that you left on him. You're providing him with an opportunity to see how well he's downloaded and digested all those gems and jewels and keys that you passed on to him. So just get a little brother a chance to manifest those things. You know what I mean? By giving them some space, mama.
you're hilarious. He won't be alone. He still won't be alone though, but
He won't be
I
alone, but
hear
he won't have mama. Right? You
but
won't
I
have
but I
mama
hear what but
hovering
I hear
over
what
him.
you but I hear what you're saying.
hmm And yeah, I even remember that. All right, so even on that, right? That just reminds me of like so when we were in Puerto Rico and then we went out that night, right? And we hit the back blocks, right? Well, no, we didn't even hit the back blocks. We was about to. Or did we?
We hit him and
That
it
one.
wasn't nothing.
It wasn't
Yeah.
but that wasn't when we were out that night though, right? That was a totally different night, right? We went to La
Well, you went.
Placita.
I only went that one time.
Oh, all right, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
the whole idea, well, it's for those who are interested in what it is that we were talking about. So as we were in Puerto Rico, we went out all together, and we went to the La Placita, which was an area of town where the whole town came out and the dancing squares dancing all around and da 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 da. But when we got out there, at the time this was still in the latter stages of the pandemic, and so they had lifted the curfew, but then some of the places out there closed early still. So when we got out there, we tried to go get some food first, and then we were gonna go dancing in the plaza and da 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 da, and it was shut down. All the food
Mm.
places. So I went to go on a journey, and I as we were out and about, I just made sure that what I'm saying, as I was with Ja, what I mean, I was just trying to like take him off into the cut a little bit so that mom could go enjoy herself, and then he could be a young man in Puerto Rico, you know what I'm saying? And just provide him with opportunities to just be a young 14, 15-year-old in Puerto Rico. So he could do 14, 15-year-old Puerto Rico on vacation type stuff. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
even know what that means.
You don't need
1450.
to know. It's all
I don't
good.
even.
It's all good.
Yeah.
That was what I was there to impart and like and provide him with, right? Like to be able to like pull him away from mom and be like, all right, come on, bro, like let's go hit the block. I want to actually see how you maneuver out here in these streets anyway. You know what I mean? And see what kind of training you do have. Like how do you handle yourself, and how can you interact with in a whole nother well, I guess in a US territory, but with a language barrier, right? Like what is your game
Hmm.
like in interacting with females, males, all of the above, right? So it was those type of opportunities that I was pulling him to the side to come and do and engage him in that manner so that he could have a trip, you know what I mean, that is separate of having to be up under mom all day, right? So that's what
Mm.
I was attempting to provide him as we were interacting through that time, and that night just turned into a whole uh, a whole
Debacle.
show. Yeah, that turned into a whole debacle. But it was still a lived experience that I thoroughly enjoyed, right? And I still have
Yeah.
laughs about it from even to this day. I start chuckling. All right, so we learned that you trust your heart. We learned that you have a wonderful idea about being beautiful. We've learned that the last time you cried was a couple of days ago from a reoccurring dream about the father of your child who was your best friend, and him coming to visit you in those dreams, and the tears of sadness and joy and gratitude and grief were all released in that cry. Then we also learned that in three languages, saying hi, how are you, and thank you are words that you find are relevant to know in all languages, right? And then we just also learned that what scares you is not leaving your son prepared for life without you. Um, Now we just learned what scared you. Now we want to know, what is it, Messiah, that makes you happy?
Um, Life makes me happy. I mean, I, I'm always happy for the
Mm.
most part. Like I'm happy. I'm just a happy person. When I wake up, I always do my gratitude, in terms of just making sure I'm announcing what I'm grateful for and putting it out in the universe. And even if I'm having a bad day, I'm still happy. I tell my students there is like every day is a good day. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, I hate Mondays," and blah blah blah, and I'm like, every day is a good day. Anytime you're above ground, it's a good day. You know
Hey,
what I mean? So that's my motto.
you
You
get
know.
you get a clap for that. Hold on, wait, hold on. We got an air horn that one. We got yeah. You let that ring off again. We gotta let that ring off again
Yeah.
because I totally am wholeheartedly in agreement with that. Like, people ask me that question. I get that every day because I'm in front of people every day, and so they're always asking me that, and it's just like, yeah, man, I woke up. My answer is I woke up. So the hard part's
Exactly.
over. You know what I mean? So and I have to constantly go back and remind myself of that as well because when I get caught up in my zone and the woe is me and all the responsibilities that are in life and blah 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 and all those stress factors and I have to remember that, dude, that it ain't really that hard. It ain't really that bad, and this is a good problem to be having because there's a whole lot of other individuals who don't have the opportunity to even um, have life breathe life into the situation to transform it into whatever you can possibly turn it into, to make it work for you in the
Exactly.
moment, right? So I'm in full accordance with you on that. So being alive makes you happy. Okay. So Miss Nasia Nicole, the last
Nasia.
Nasia, darn, I was almost there. Oh, Nasia, my bad. Nasia Nicole, the last question that I have for you on the human experience, passion, and action is: what is your purpose?
My purpose. My soul's purpose is to help people to level up and to be all about progression in life. I'm all about progression. I feel like you're not living if you're not progressing. Um, and I work with families to help them build an unbreakable bond with their children so that they can have healthy, healed, and happy children, but most importantly, so they can do it stress free. And I feel like that's the backbone of when I say that, I mean creating that relationship building, creating relationships. That's my thing. And I feel like that will help people progress um, in life. That's the first step to progressing and leveling up, having healthy relationships, whether that is having a healthy relationship with yourself, having a healthy, first it starts with self, obviously, and then having a healthy relationship with your child and or children, having a healthy relationship with your spouse, family, and people you meet, so on and so forth. But my main purpose is to help people, help families, moms in particular, but families as well, raise healthy, healed, and happy children, and stress less while doing it.
Mm.
That's one of my main purposes. Um, and also helping children, obviously, because I've been working with children for over 18 years, um, understand the importance of always working towards progression, leveling up. So I guess it's twofold.
Mm. Well, I would say that my experience of you has been one of exhibiting and being a recipient of your healed, healthy, and happy um, personality, right? Because again, I cannot iterate enough. Um, the short amount of time that we spent together provided a impactful moment that I needed in that at that particular time. Like that whole trip to Puerto Rico was a very transformative trip for myself, right? That
Mm,
was my first trip that I took. That was my first, like I guess, one of the first real adulting trips that I've taken in the last maybe 10 to 12 years. You know, from the standpoint of that, like I fully took care of everything that needed to be taken care of. I didn't short myself on the experience. I allowed myself to like be a grown up, be bossed up, to be leveled up in that space, in that place, and to do all the things that I my heart desired as I was on that trip. Right. I would say I got about
mm-hmm,
98% of what I was looking to get accomplished on that trip happened. Right.
mm,
And being able to um, like just even that last moment, like that having the room, because yo, that day that you left, right? I almost technically I was supposed to check out that day too because of I made a blunder on booking the room. So I had to go and book an
mm-hmm,
extra day there because my flight wasn't leaving until the next day, and then I had nowhere else to stay or whatever, right? And so me booking that extra night um, was a direct result of that was being able to just be there for you at that time when you all had checked out, and then to just be able to like here's my room key, here's the pool pass, boom boom boom, yo, you and Ja go have fun for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? After y'all go on
mm-hmm,
y'all trip or whatever, after y'all check out, just leave your stuff at the crib and you could go, shower up, do whatever you needed to do before you got on this before you get on this flight, right? At night.
mm-hmm,
And then so to be able to have space to be able to for you all to do that, right? So that you can
mm-hmm,
continue to develop that healthy, happy, and loving relationship and bond with your son, right? In that moment, in that time, you know what I mean. For me to be able to have the means to offer up the opportunity for you all to do that, to be stress free as you all went and took your trip to
mm-hmm.
the waterfall or wherever, you know what I mean, and then be able to come
Yeah.
back and relax and change and do do all that stuff to be comfortable in this
Right.
foreign territory. Like all of that was an honor and a blessing for me to be able to just provide that, right? And then even to the very last moment of you going to the airport, forgetting your book bag, and then me having to bring it to you, right? Do you not
Mm-hmm.
know that at in that very moment, dude, when like me going to the airport to go do that, what I had to go through, there was a whole nother family that was about to get dropped off at the airport, and the shuttle bus driver like circumvented dropping them off first just so he could accommodate me getting to the airport to get you your bag, right, in the rain. And like the money that you were able to like cash at me was directly what I was able to pay him to take care of all of that. And I didn't have it. I didn't have it at that moment to be able to do that. Like I did not have it. Like literally because my money was tied up and I did
Wow.
not have it. Right. So the idea of like, just being there for someone and being able to just make the causes, because that whole trip was all about me making causes through my thoughts, through my
Mm,
words, through my actions of what I represent in this world. Right. So I wanted to make all the causes that I could to represent the individual that I say that I am in this world, right? If I am here and born to inspire people to be the happiest that they could possibly be through my acts of service and be able to create environments that are conducive to people expressing and experiencing compassion in real time, that is
mhm.
exactly what the causes that I made on that trip were. So like have
Mhm.
people in the room, to be able to offer the room, to be able to like create experiences and be like, oh, hey, boom, boom, boom. Hey, let's all go here. Let's all go here. Let's round up this. Let's do that. Like that was directly me manifesting what I like to show up as in the world. Right. And
Wow.
so so to hear you experience what your purpose is, right, is to create and foster those type of relationships. I just want to thank you once again for choosing to live as you are, because that affected me in such a positive and healthy manner. So I just want to say thank
Wow.
you, thank you, thank you for living and being your purpose.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you shared that. It's so funny too because even just there being there, is me living my purpose because um luckily I was able to know about this trip early enough with BWO before it got out of hand where they weren't allowing people to bring their children.
Mm,
And so I was able to jump on it early enough and ask them if it was okay for me to bring Jasir because I really wanted him to be around those brothers and be around the other amazing people that I knew we would meet there,
mm,
the BWO family, because
mm-hmm.
we're popping. And so I was like, so I was like, I asked them very early on, and it's so crazy. Like they allowed that to happen because I want to say even like I don't know how much like later afterwards, but it seemed like not too soon after, like people were asking on the calls, like, "Oh, can I bring this person up?" And they were like, "No, like if they're not a BWO member, you can't. We don't have enough space for for family. We don't have enough space, because obviously it's COVID, blah blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to monitor the sessions and make sure they had enough, it was enough. It wasn't like we weren't all on top of each other. So imagine if every single person brought their child or whatever. But I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
felt so blessed. And so I felt like that was a manifestation of my purpose because I was like, Dad, like I was like the only one that was able to well, I don't know if other people asked, but the fact that I was able to, have him there
Mm-hmm.
with that experience and have so many people pour into him, you know what I mean? A lot of people poured into him during that experience. And so just with me just showing up the way I showed up, I mean, the things that we received. I mean, Brother Ben's mom gave us a print screener,
Oh, word.
yeah, like she just mailed us a print screener. Uh, a brother, I don't even know his name, gave, I was about to purchase Jasir a crown
Mm-hmm.
so that 19 Keys can crown him, and he just gave him his.
Mm.
Just like I was like, here, take this, young brother. And it was just amazing. Like we were receiving so much love, just so much love, so much love. So many people poured into him in terms of just talking to his spirit, 19 Keys did an official crowning for
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the same, like how you just mentioned that you manifested everything you are and your purpose during the trip. I feel like I did the same too. You just gave an example too of how we did it, with each other, but I also manifested that throughout the whole trip with so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting that you brought that up. You know what I mean? And that you were a blessing to us. When it came to, especially at the end. Well, obviously, I already told you about you pouring into him, but then at the end, like, I mean, I'm sure that he just even mentioned it. Like, that was so nice of him for him to. It was so funny when we walked into your room. He was like, "Dad, he got all his stuff laid out like this." He said he sure must trust us. He was like, he just got his stuff laid out, and I was like, I know. He was like, that's so nice of him. That's so kind of him. He was just like so like, you know, like happy and like I don't want to say happy, but he was just like in awe of the fact that that you open up your place like that to us or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and your room like that. And so anyway, he did mention it, and then even when I had to call you at the at the thing, the fact that I even felt comfortable enough to call you,
Mm-hmm.
because I still tell you, like, I never ask for any favors. I don't like asking.
Gotcha.
Like, I just don't like asking. And it's so crazy because I told you that if I would have checked my email, I would have known that my flight was delayed.
Mm.
So technically, I didn't even have. I could have waited, and I could have gone back and waited until the servers went down and everything because it was delayed for so long. But I didn't know. I didn't check my email. So it's just I felt like it all was meant to happen.
Yeah.
And even when I did, I mean, when I called you, Jesse, it was like, hey, he has company. Um, he was like, by now he might be mating.
That was on the agenda.
I was like, what?
It
He
was
was
on
like,
the
I'm just.
agenda
He
for
was like.
sure.
I was cracking up. I was like, what? He was like, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. He might be mating by now, and then we're bothering him to bring your bag or whatever. And so anyway, he just was just very in awe of the fact that that you were there for us like that, like
uh,
I felt that hilarious.
the
And
behind the
he was
scenes of that one, yeah, that was
right.
definitely on the agenda. I was definitely was about to hit them streets again, or yeah,
Oh
I
my
was I was I
god.
was plotting. I was definitely plotting for
Oh
sure.
my god. I could not. I was like, I'm done. But anyway, so yeah, it's just funny that you mentioned that because I feel like when we do, it brings us to a bigger point that when we do live our purpose,
Mm,
right, we manifest that in our lives as well. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're
yeah,
a walking manifestation of what it is we're trying to help other people do, right?
for
We can't
sure.
help other people do it if we're not, how am I going to talk about I'm helping you build an unbreakable bond with your child if I don't have one with mine? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
if that's not what I actively work towards every single day. You see what I'm saying? So like is what you said is super important. It's just super important. We embody what it is that we want to see in the world, basically.
Mm. Yeah. And so I would like to thank you for living that. And so briefly, uh Nasiah.
Nasia.
Nasia. Damn.
Like,
Uh
I'll see you.
yeah, I'll see you, Nasia. So Nasia, Nicole, we are going to give the floor over to you. And so in about a minute or less, let the people know you kind of went into it already, but let the people know where you are, what you're up to, how they can get in contact with you, and give them all the information that would be necessary for them to be able to work with you. And the floor
Oh,
is yours.
I'm still. I have little tears from laughing. Yeah, again, I'm Nasia Nicole. You can find me on Instagram at Healthy, Healed, and Happy. I just started showing up on Instagram, so you will see me. um, more often, because that's something that I've been working on getting out of my shell in terms of social media. So I am on there. I am doing lives and things like that. So follow me at Healthy, Healed, and Happy. I do have a program helping parents to create unbreakable bonds with their children. Like I said, the whole purpose is for you to raise healthy, healed, and happy children and stress less while doing it. And you can sign up. I have a link in my bio and Instagram. You can sign up for my ongoing webinar to find out more about that program. You can also text the word team to get a free gift from me to the number that's in my bio as well. And what else do I need to say? That is pretty much it, I think.
Okay. If you say that's it, then that's it. Well, folks, that's all she wrote right there. Yo, so Nasiah,
Say,
and you have one more thing to say. Okay.
have one more thing. Um, the Girl app will be dropping soon. The Girl app was created by a wonderful woman named Dr. Venus Opal Reese, and you can look her up on Amazon Prime. She has a series called Hot Mess Millionaire. She's also all over YouTube, all over every social media platform. She created this app as a highway for female Black content creators. I am one of 60 female content creators on the Girl app. It's not out yet, but we will be launching in September, and we will be doing pre-launch. I believe the pre-launch will be in the middle of August. And so anyone can obviously download the Girl app and join and hear from us. But the primary audience is Black women. So you will be hearing from a lot of Black women. It's a safe space for Black women to come together and to just talk about issues that we go through, so on and so forth. And it's going to be a really dynamic platform. It's like no other social media platform. We have something called the Salon. So follow my Salon on the Girl app, and you won't be disappointed.
Right. So don't be disappointed by the Girl app. All right, all right, all right. Well, what I would like to say is thank you, Nasiah Nicole, for choosing to take time out of your busy schedule to join us here at The Human Experience. It has been greatly a pleasure being in your presence, being able to hear you compassionately express yourself, and just being a light beam. Thank you so much for choosing to live in your purpose. With that being said, I want to also thank you all here for choosing to join us here at The Human Experience. I don't know what just happened. This is sucking right now. I want to do this. Oh yeah. That's what I want. So I just wanted to, as we get ready to wind down on this wonderful human experience, I want to thank you again for choosing to take time out of your day to spend time with us at The Human Experience. Passion, and action. I am your host, Himyo, a.k.a. True Him, a.k.a. Altruism, a.k.a. Dynamism, a.k.a. It All Flows Through Him. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Omen Timepieces. Omen Timepieces. It is the watch with the message. Make sure to check them out at omentimepieces.com. omentimepieces.com, and let them know that Himyo sent you. I also want to give a shout out to Beard Zion. Beard Zion, getting my beard looks rough, but it feels oh so soft, and it is thank you to that Beard Zion and all their wonderful beard care products. So make sure you tune in and check us out at The Human, HUEMAN Experience. PA, passion in action. So that's what we're up to today. Thank you for checking out. I want to give a shout out to Jado, another BWO member, for the outro music, because it is a hustle. The Human Experience is an official entity registered in the state of California. This is a hustle. So make sure y'all are well and swell, and make sure that you remember to be peaceful, to be happy, and to be productive, because you matter. Namyo Horenge Kyo, Namyo Horenge Kyo, Namyo Horenge Kyo. Thank you once again for joining us at The Human Experience. Compassion in action. That's type of shit I'm on. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. Type of shit I'm on. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. Yeah, let's say some things in my life. Try and get me a